Hey guys, we're back with another Mech's deck tech. So today we're going over my Omnath Locus of Creation commander deck. It's an elemental slash landfall tribal deck, with the goal being to honestly play 3 lands a turn consistently, basically every turn we can, right? So for those of you who aren't familiar with Omnath Locus of Creation, he's a 4-color, 4/4 legendary elemental. When he enters the battlefield, he gets to draw a card. Bam. He has landfall, but he has 3 different landfall ability triggers. The first time a land happens to enter the battlefield under my control in a turn, I gain some life. Cool. Second time, I get red, green, white, and blue just slapped into my mana pool. And the third time it happens, I deal 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker that I don't control. So he's dealing with planeswalkers, he's hitting my opponents for damage, he's having a good time. He's having a ball, if you will, right? But no commander is a one-man army, right? They need some facilitators. So let's go over the facilitators in the deck to kind of help me push towards victory here. We have Chandra, Awakened Inferno. So Chandra, Awakened Inferno is great. There's actually 3 different Chandras in the deck, but this one in particular is phenomenal. She can't be countered, which we love, right? We hate when our spells are countered. She can't be. Immediately, +2 is amazing, right? Cool. You now have an emblem, each of my opponents. You can't get rid of emblems. There's no mechanic that does it. They are taking 1 damage every turn for the rest of the game. Oh, they have troubling board states where they're going for try and go wide. -3. Are you not an elemental deck? Cool. I might not have wiped your whole board, but I wiped a lot of it. The -X is nice for, dealing with, targeted removal. But I almost never have to use it, right? Chandra, Awakened Inferno is good enough with her other 2 abilities. -X is icing on the cake. Nisa, who shakes the world. So, my forests are going to tap for extra, right? Ramp is good. +1 gives me, it turns my lands into dudes, but more importantly, it untaps them, right? I don't ever actually want to swing with my lands. I want to untap a new one basically every turn until I get up to the ability to spend the 8, ideally have her still live, and just fetch all of my forests. Now there's 11 forests that are in my deck that are basic. There's a few more that I think are the dual lands that might declare it as a forest. But she's just a great way to kind of pump a bunch of things all at once. And we love her for it. That takes care of our planeswalker facilitators. Let's move over into creatures a little bit. Ancient Green Warden. He's a reachy boy. He lets me play my lands from my graveyard, which is great because I have a number of fetch lands in the deck, which we'll get to later. And he doubles up my landfall triggers. Right? So good. Oh, I'm gaining 8 life now. Oh, I'm gaining 8 mana. Oh, I just dealt 8 damage to each of my opponents and each planeswalker they control. Ancient Green Warden, Chef's Kiss. Next up, we have Dryad of the Elysian Grove. So he lets me play extra lands each turn. And lands I control are every basic type, in addition to their other types. So this basically makes it so, you know, my lands all tap for every color. A little bit of mana fixing, I like it. Playing extra lands each turn, I like it. Right? He's just pushing us further towards victory. Next up, you know him, you love him. It's Risen Reef. Risen Reef is so good in Elemental Tribal, it's sickening. I had a Risen Reef standard deck back when you could play Risen Reef in standard. And my god, does it put in work. So it's a card draw engine, but also, if the card you would draw from his trigger is a land, just slap that bad boy in the battlefield. So again, we love it. We're getting extra lands, we're getting more card draw. It's just a good time. Our last creature facilitator is Yasharn, Implacable Earth. I don't know what implacable means, but it's not important. What is important is that he lets us search for a plains and a forest hand to hand, right? He also has the added benefit of shutting down sacrifice decks. Not super, like, relevant most of the time, but, like, it can be handy. Alright. That wraps up our facilitators that are creatures. We're gonna move on to our sorceries. And as you guessed, a lot of ramp here, right? We're starting off with Cultivate. I'm gonna kind of like run through the sorceries because they're all basically doing the same thing. So we have Cultivate. We have Grow from the Ashes. We have... I'm probably gonna mispronounce this. Peregrination? Peregrination. I'm gonna say that's correct. We have Rampant Growth. We have Terramorph. We have 3 Visits. And to a lesser extent, Urban Evolution. Moving on from there, we're gonna jump into our instance. We got Eureka Moment. Again, not really like the same level as some of the other ones which guarantee me lands, but still pretty good. We got Road, and by extension Ruin. But we really care about Road, we eventually care about Ruin. And Roiling Regrowth. We still have a few more things, and by a few more, I do mean a few more. In terms of artifacts, we have Wayfarer's Bauble. That's it. Enchantment-wise, we have Druid class. And it's going to cost us 5 to get to the effect we really care about, but you can't ignore the fact that it does add landfall gain of life, right? It's not nothing. After that, we have Omen of the Hunt. It's nice and flashable, which is nice. It searches for a basic land. And honestly, at some point, just lets us scry too. And that's really just when we have extra mana, which in this deck can happen a lot, because we're generating mana off of just playing our lands, in addition to the mana that you would normally generate from doing so. After that, you have lands. So we have a couple fetch lands. We have the lovely Arid Mesa, which is really just here to get planes. We have a copy of Evolving Wilds. Ooh, so fancy. Stable. We have Marsh Flats, which again is just here to go ahead and search out planes. And last but not least, we have a Scalding Tarn, which is here to search out our mountain. There are definitely some, like, other fetch lands we could put in here. They're honestly even just better ones, right? We could also get an island with this. But those are facilitators. They kind of help us push towards victory. But of course we need things that are gonna, like, end this game. You know what I'm talking about? We have some finishers. Let's go to those next. Starting off our finishers, we have Elvish Herder, who's great because he's a trample enabler. And we have a number of creatures who can get real big, but don't have trample innately. One of which is Avenger of Zendakar's plants, right? When he enters, he's going to create a bunch of plants based on the number of lands we have. And then those plants are just getting bigger. But they don't have trample, and that's an issue. Creeping Trailblazer can get huge. This is a go-wide deck. We have ways of generating a lot of elemental tokens. Turning our lands into elementals, like, is good. But not inherently tramply. Can't have that. And also, we have our Zendikar Incarnate, right? His power is equal to the number of lands we have. We very quickly get out a lot of lands. We can make him tramply. Even if he dies in the attack, you know, we still hit for a ton. And that's what matters. Alright guys, thanks for hanging out and checking out the deck with me. If you prefer this version of deck techs where I kind of just go over the commander, facilitators, and finishers, you know, let me know down in the comments. If you prefer me going over every single card in the entire deck, I can also do that. As always, the entire deck list will be linked in the details section down below. If you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like. If you want to see more of this kind of content, go ahead and follow and hit that notification bell to see when new deck techs are uploaded. Until next time, guys, have a good one.